Hi everybody, this is David Krueger with Truth versus Falsehood. Welcome back. This is part 2 of our muscle testing video in applied kinesiology. In the last video we looked at a couple of different muscle testing techniques and examined content versus context. I want to start this video by imparting to you the importance when you're going to begin muscle testing inquiry. Ask permission. The answers, we talked about the field of consciousness and the ultimate reality encompassing all things. This is where the permission comes from. It's either in the highest and best good for you to get this answer or not. So let's say I want to know Ramana Maharishi's teachings calibrated at a certain level. The first thing I would ask is I would hold it in mind. We talked about holding something in mind. I would hold it in mind, Ramana Maharishi. And I would say, I have permission to inquire into that which I'm holding in mind. And you test it. I use the O-ring method. That's pretty solid. So I would then use my statement. And the statement, I'm going to show you a statement to use to calibrate something specifically in accordance with the Hawkins scale of consciousness. But first, before we get into calibrating things in terms of the scale of consciousness, I want you to understand you can go a pretty long way with simple yes or no questions. So let me give you a demonstration of a couple yes or no questions. Barack Obama is President of the United States. It's real solid. After you practice at this for a while, with your own body, you'll get a sense of what's solid and what is not. Let me try that again another way. And this is another muscle testing technique with your fingers like a fork like this. Barack Obama is President of the United States. It's a strong response. Barack Obama was born in the United States. Whoops. Barack Obama was born in the United States. It's not me. It's the field of human consciousness telling you that. The Phoenix Lights incident of 1997, the UFO sighting, was of extraterrestrial origin. The statement is true. Resist. All kinds of yes or no questions. And again, back to simple things. My name is David. My name is Leslie. You get a feel for it. Another thing I want to impart to you with yes or no questions with anything, you cannot try to foretell the future. You can't say such and such is going to happen. The future has no reality. It has to be something that's real in the field of human consciousness, and that's simply what is. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Dr. Hawkins or have seen videos or recordings of him doing this sort of muscle testing. But when you watch Dr. Hawkins do something, he'll simply say, "This is true, resist," and he'll have his wife Susan there and he'll press down on her arm. It's a very simple inquiry. What you have to know about Dr. Hawkins is he calibrated very high and was very good at holding a thing in mind, better than most of us would be. So when we're asking a question, particularly in terms of where something calibrates on the scale of consciousness, and this may be a little more information than you need today, but we're just going to go over it. What you're going to do is you're going to phrase the statement a very specific way. So let's say I wanted to calibrate my own level of consciousness. I would use a statement, and this statement was given to me by one of my teachers. I would say, on a scale, let me get my statement right in front of me, in fact. Oh, whatever did I do with it? I'm so disorganized. Okay. On a scale of consciousness, between 1 and 1,000, where 1,000 denotes enlightenment, David Krueger calibrates above 50. This statement is true. Resist. Above 100. This statement is true. Resist. And what you do is you narrow it down. But the important thing is to make the statement and say, according to divinity, the level of consciousness of this book, Power versus Force, according to divinity, in the context of, or is expressed through David Hawkins' map of consciousness, calibrates over 100. this statement is true. Resist. Over 200, this statement is true. Resist. Over 300, this statement is true. Resist. Over 400, this statement is true. Resist. 500. 600. 700. 800. 900. 810. 820. 820. 820. Just guess sometimes you got to double check it if you get to get an off and an on. 830. 840. 850. 860. 860. 860. So between 850 and 860, and I happen to know this book does calibrate right in that range. That is how, very basically, you would do a calibration. You can do your own level of consciousness. If you attempt to do your own level of consciousness, which I wouldn't really recommend, you might want to have someone else do yourself. You would use your own name. If I would say the level of consciousness of David Krueger, not my level of consciousness. There's too many me's and my's out there. And what you're holding in mind might get a little confused. So that might go a little bit beyond what we needed to know today, but I wanted to give you all a primer. We're going to do, in the future, on this channel and on this website, we're going to calibrate a lot of things and look at those calibrations. I wanted to give you a decent little primer on how this all works. And based on feedback I get and based on your questions, we'll clarify as we go. So I think that's it for this week. We'll see you very soon.